Welcome back to Boys Love Exchange 3, the show in which your favorite gay husbands
That's our ship name, Husbands.
Husbands? No, that's already a ship name.
That's taken.
That's taken.
By a Japanese man and a Chinese man.
Yep. We recap straight
culture.
Pride? Would you call this straight pride?
We're on episode 15 of Exchange.
We're on episode 15 of Exchange. We're on day 3 of Jeju.
And before we even talk about it, 3 hours and 14 minutes.
Here's my favorite comment from last week.
I noticed you don't do this for build-up, but you do it for Exchange.
Tanya Goal 7369 says, "My only problem with the show is that Huion looks so good."
I know. It is a problem. He's really... That's why every time we've always dragged him, we're always like...
He looks so good and acts like a fucking fool.
Yeah. And that's honestly... Isn't that the plight of...
It's tough.
It's the plight.
Dating shows are the perfect thing. Okay, everyone has experienced dating, right? It's the easiest thing to be like... In this situation, I would clearly blah, do blah, blah.
Yeah.
But of course, you have no idea.
You have no idea.
I was thinking about it today while we were watching this 3 hour and 14-minute episode that I was like, I think I'd go crazy on the show. I think I would be fully unhinged.
Established, yeah.
And
honestly, even in His Man, I don't think I would do well on a dating show, unfortunately.
No, I don't think I would do well on a dating show. I think I would show my ass. I don't mean that literally. I mean, I would just be like,
make
stupid.
Make me sway. Make me harder. Make me lose my breath. Make me water.
I just think I would be like stupid. And it would be like embarrassing for all parties.
They would catch you like sitting alone in rooms. I would be talking a lot to myself.
Yeah, you'd be sangjeong.
I would be sangjeong.
Yeah.
Which I don't do in real life, but I think by having cameras everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I love that narrative for you. Should we talk about the show?
Give us the outline. Give us the docket.
Okay. We have 6 ex-chosen dates. So these are dates the boys chose for their girl exes. Okay? So we have 6 of those. And then we are going to talk about... the final couple that we have not heard their backstory. We are going to talk about
pages and pages of notes, bitch.
I have 4 pages of notes today, guys. I've given up on trying to be succinct. And then we're going to talk about how the girls chose dates for their exes. We're going to talk about texting as always. And then we're just going to have, just a couple points about some different couples.
Ex-couples.
Ex-couples specifically. Yep. Now that it's all in the open, they just start talking to their exes all the time. Everybody's talking to their ex.
You walk in the kitchen, I'm just going to squeeze right by you and get a ramyeon for my ex.
Wild.
Okay.
Let's start with these dates because they're all nice. So, Changjin and Jeong they go off-roading. What they call UTV, which I am assuming ATV? Yeah. Is that what that is? I mean, listen, I may be from Indiana, so I should know that.
You want to talk straight culture? It's off-road. You know what's gay? Driving on the road.
Riding trains. Transit. No, that's gay.
The big thing here is that Jeong was like, "Oh, you're silly and goofy. I just assumed you were so cold because you don't talk to anyone except for Dahye and Yujong." But I also think that Changjin has definitely changed.
Oh, you're saying Jeong said that about Changjin.
Yeah. Changjin definitely has changed since coming to Jeju. He feels like very siloed.
He's way more... he is way less cool than he seemed when he was in Seoul. He is... Bumbling. I don't think he's like going through it as much as like... I don't know. Who's
probably
Juwon is the
guy.
Out of all the boys, probably the guy that's going through it the most. Because Sangjeong is playing games with him. I don't know what to tell you. But we find out in this episode that Jong-un is actually, not only is she a doctor, honey.
She's an actress.
She's booked. She's
a
blessed.
peer.
She's on Grey's Anatomy, honey.
Yes.
She is an actress. They go off-roading, then they go and cook on like one of those big like the
giant,
Korean
yes.
huge like kettles
the
outside.
thing that Mingyu set up and in the soup.
The Mingyu set up. The thing that
Bangtan set up.
Bangtan set up and tried to cook a fried chicken, and it was raw. You know, the classic. We all know it. We all love it. This is our second date Changjin has been on with another person. He's only ever dated Dae. Mm-hmm. I still like the Dae Changjin dates.
Me too. And it looks like next episode they might kind of get out of their funk a little. Not that they're funk, but they're in very cloudy places since coming to Jeju.
I think they're both, but I think the reason that they have been like talking so much is they are going through I think they're the closest in terms of like what's happening to them. Because their exes are the ones that are most clear about being like, I am not getting back with you.
And they're
for good or ill.
Yeah. And they're dealing with it because I think it's their first time fully being like, oh, then that part of the show, that equation is not possible here.
There's only one avenue.
There's only one avenue, and time is running out. And it's basically now just a timer between you and being able to stand there and see your ex walk away with someone
Because the only thing I will say that sucks about the show at the end of the show is they have to choose a person.
They have to choose.
They can't just be like, I'm choose
leaving by myself.
Goodbye. Now, what happens is if someone chooses them and they don't choose that person back, then they just walk away.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have the same effect as being like, I'm choosing me. I'm choosing me. Okay.
Now.
Do you like my performance? I'm an actress too, just like Jong-un. Okay. Now, this is the other question. How did you feel about this date versus the Dongjin Jong-un date?
I do think Jong-un is very attracted to Changjin, more so than Dongjin. I think there are more sparks here.
She so later in the episode we find out that she's gonna go back on a date with Dongjin, and she like has a talking head where she's like, I'm very excited to go back on a date with him because I'd like to talk to him more, blah blah blah. It was weird because they went on a date where they couldn't really talk to each other, and then they had food, which was fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know about Jong-un right
because
now.
I just feel really bad because I think the guys that she's interested in are set
or
in a path.
Tied up.
And I don't, because she is so sure about what she wants.
Yes.
I don't think she's going to go in and be like, well, maybe Min-hyung is a thing. I don't think she's like, I don't want kids.
I know.
She genuinely is like, I don't want kids.
I know.
She just wants the two grown-ups.
I know.
Which Dongjin, even though he's old, I don't think he's mature in a different way.
Yeah.
I think. But like Min-hyung, Hui-hyun, Kwang-tae, boys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even Ju-won, she was like, I'm excited. Ju-won would be my third that I would want to talk to. And even Ju-won has like more of like a cool, like cold.
But I think the thing I noticed about this date, this Jong-un Changjin date, is Changjin is so he is an active listener, which
I noticed
Korea,
that too.
In Korean, it's a very common.
He does it a lot, where he's like, ah, kare.
So often,
yeah.
And I was like, oh, look at that. That's nice.
You know what it feels like? It feels like you were raised in a good, polite home. They really told you like.
I think his parents did okay.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, so Ju-won and Yoo-jung go on a date. They go open sea fishing. This is RJ's ideal date with me, which it's never going to happen.
Because I want to catch the fish.
I'm not going to the middle of the ocean. I do not care. I don't care.
Catch the fish, and then they slice it there for you to eat.
What is the difference between going to a place that got fish from the fish market that day and slice it in the restaurant on the land?
You got it.
I don't care. I will not catch anything because I have no gift. I have no ability.
You won't even go on
I
like
hope your mom really enjoys that when you go on your little trip together.
when we go to Jeju.
And your mom inevitably comes with us.
Because it's kind of a big deal, I think.
Listen, if she's the one...
If she's paying... She's like, oh yeah, come here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the best
you're
son-in-law
like,
at that
get
point.
here, get
yeah.
here,
Oh, let me take
picture.
Their chemistry is so good. I think them and I think Dongjin, Hyewan have the best chemistry on the show. These two feel like they've been like dating for years.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how like well matched they are with each other.
And I will say in the ATV date, Changjin makes another comment that's like, I thought about my ex. Because this would be something that we would do. I mean, she catches like the biggest fucking fish and like literally
the size of her torso. It's crazy.
As soon as she gets in
is called
in the
a
boat.
great amberjack.
Yeah.
I caught that on Animal Crossing.
She's a good date for like fun things like this, like fun active things, because she's very expressive in a different way than like the other girls are expressive.
She is.
Do you know what I mean?
Where Seokyoung shines in like conversationally, she's able to like bounce between partners and like meet the level that they need to be at. I think Yoo-jung is very good about
like experiencing
things and being like really into it.
Because even the shooting, like I don't think she probably wanted to go on a shooting gallery. Maybe
Probably
she did,
not. Maybe.
but she acted as if she was like, I've always wanted to do this.
Yes. She's like someone you just want to take on a date because you
Do
want to
things.
watch her experience
Yeah.
things. Because she's like, it's like the equivalent of like how you're a good eater.
Yeah.
She's like a good activityer.
Yeah.
She catches 5 fish total. Juwon catches no fish. It's very funny. And then they get to eat the fish right on the boat. They slice them. They skin. What do they do when they cut off? They descale them. Is that a word? They descale them.
They
They
debone,
fillet them.
They dip it in that little chojang sauce.
Okay, Dongjin and Seokyoung go on a date. Dongjin has 2 dates today. So his first one is Seokyoung. They go handkerchief
I
dyeing.
know,
Girl.
The racket of like
It's starting to get a little chat GPT of like, what are date options? Give me a list of date options.
Yeah, and Mad Libs. We
Very.
went noun verbing.
Yes. Yes. Verb ends in ing. Yes. Handkerchief dyeing. Okay.
Wow, cool. And you know what? They unfurled,
cute.
and Adam was like, "Wait, that's cute."
That's so cute. Have you ever tie-dyed a shirt?
Not even in school. I know.
I mean, it's because you didn't go to a Protestant youth group. Let's be really honest, honey. Because
call out each denomination.
it's
Go
giving
ahead.
camp. It's giving summer Bible camp.
Yeah.
It's giving mission trip. It's giving mission trip. It's funny because Seokyoung is like, I think Dongjin's the one I'm most interested in.
You would
But
never
it does
fucking
not
know.
feel
No.
like that. I mean, other than the fact that I think, again, we've said it, she's like really good at
Yes, going on dates.
going on dates
But
and like whatever and talking.
And because I think we've seen her in so many dates that we're just like, is this real or are you still, because now you can't tell, like, are you performing?
Do you know what she's really
date?
good at though? Depending on the age of the person she's with, taking on the role of like,
Who's cute
I'm
and
running the
who's-
date or who,
Oh, yeah.
or
And
like I'm being dated.
She said that with Kwang Tae. She's like, that sometimes I like running a date too.
Yes. So she, like, I noticed it because
And I noticed it with Jongwon too. Jongwon was being like, 감사합니다. Like she was being cute with
Yes.
Changjin because it's like, he's a man.
he's a man. He's 8 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
But I think I noticed it today because with Dongjin, she was like, they were kind of evenly matched, I
Yes.
think. Whereas when she goes home and
Talks to
Min
Ian.
Hyung starts
Oh.
helping her with dinner, she's like showing him how to do the rice. And I was like, oh, it's she's like she takes on a different role. It's very interesting to watch her interact. I'm fascinated by Seokyoung.
This is I could study this woman.
She is truly a singular person.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to
She is-
explain it with that. I can't. I'm not like Sangjeong
And
is like
also-
my ride or die. Like I want
But also
Sangjeong to live
Seokyoung
the
is,
happiest life.
So good for TV because you don't know what to
Oh,
expect.
you'd never
from her.
know.
And
They're really, I mean, maybe she's saying it in talking heads and they're just not editing into the show, but they are not alluding to any decision that she's going to make.
no, I don't think they will.
I have no idea. The other ones you can kind of guess at this point, 5 episodes from now, where they're going to like make a decision to. I have no clue what Sangjeong is going to do. And even in this episode, she's like, I guess I should start thinking about what I'm doing. And I'm like,
episode 15, bitch.
day 3
I can't
of
even say-
Jeju, and you're going to be like,
At
I
minimum,
guess.
I've seen 15 hours, but I know it's not.
You've seen 30 hours of this show. Because every episode has been 2 hours at least.
At least.
Yeah. So that's a fun little date. The fun part was that their hands got to like touch in the water, which was very funny. Hwian and Sangjeong go on a date. They go to this like
It's like a
t-shirt hoodie. You design it.
yeah. Tea
and then
printing
tea printing
shop.
store. Yeah.
It's very cute. They designed their own little hoodies for one another.
They get couple rings,
Oh,
which
first-
I was sure was going to come up later and didn't.
I know. I mean, it was the couple rings, but then I think the actual matching giant hoodies.
Yeah. Well, because what I thought was going to happen is I thought they weren't going to wear the hoodies, but then somebody
then
was going to
someone will
notice
see
the
the
rings.
rings.
Yeah. That's not what happened. So they made these hoodies, and
They draw each other.
He drew like bunnies,
3 rabbits.
on hers because she looks like a rabbit. What did she draw on his? A teddy bear.
Teddy bear.
A teddy bear. That's right. They were very cute.
They have a very cute date. They
I
take
liked
pictures.
this date.
They take pictures, and it's like silly.
Yes.
He's like kind of role playing with her, which
There is like they are evenly
evenly matched.
matched in terms of like age, energy.
And you know, I kind of hope after seeing why Sangjeong and Minhyung broke up in this episode, it has quickly made me a bigger fan of this relationship, of what this could be. Because it's like,
so
look,
too.
someone that is sharing your energy and you don't have to
Yeah.
feel like you have to change in any way
Yes.
or feel bad that you're who you
Just
are.
is not
But
into
he
her.
is not into her.
I think the reason I like this date is because he's not into
Freaking
her.
out. Yeah.
Because well, I guess there was only
'Cause
that
it's
one
like
date
with-
with Sangjeong, but like
But still,
he was like, "Ugh," and so awkward. I don't know. Whatever. I like when they go outside and they have their little like picnic outside while they're waiting for the shirts to be done, and they do the like pictures bit.
yeah, they're like, who, me?
It's very cute.
Yeah.
I liked this date, but I did think it was telling that they did not show us the entire date because they definitely went to a restaurant later because we see when she gets the text to decide who her ex is going to go.
Yeah.
And then we go Changjin and Dahae. So they
Just go to dinner.
go have a pasta dinner.
She loves getting pasta. I mean,
She loves to eat.
she does love to eat. And
She
it's so
loves
funny
to
because
eat.
she's like, is it okay if I'll get anything just because I'm hungry? And he's like, yeah. And then they have a conversation of like, well, I'm not, they say gluttonous, but it's like, I guess that's the word, but it's so official, I feel like. But
Yeah.
he's like, you're not, because you are, basically.
What's your deadly sin?
Out of all of them,
Yeah.
envy.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
7 deadly sins: wrath, pride, envy, it's sloth.
Yeah.
It's sloth.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. You are Leo.
You left earlier, and I laid on the bed and just played games on my phone for 2 straight hours.
2 hours. I came back and I was like, is the dog walked? And he goes, he will be now, girl.
The energy that Changjin and Dahae have is very friendly, and the panel keeps being like, "There's no spark. There's no spark," which I agree. There's not, and there's not a spark in that way.
But I don't think the spark has left. I think that it just has. I think it's still there. I think it's just manifesting through that they really are relying on each other way more.
Yes,
than they
I
thought
think
they
so
were.
too.
Yeah.
But I think that's its own. It can be a
Yeah.
slow burn.
Yeah, girl, look at the case study right here, girl.
No damn chemistry whatsoever.
No chemistry. And then Hyewon and Dongjin have their date.
They sure do.
And once again,
And it felt like, the night he proposed. Like it's
it's like a perfect first. I know it's not the first date, but it's a perfect third date of like. He is like outwardly being like, yeah, you're so pretty.
If you watch the show for Dongjin and you cut out everything to do with Dahae and you just watch him, if you just were to
if you're just watching his trajectory
with Hye-won specifically.
Yes. Oh, with Hye-won specifically.
Oh, this is like, I mean,
the first date he was like a crying fool because he was basically ripping the Band-Aid off. He's like, my first date, I am going to take a different girl to the same spot that I have deep memories.
Multiple memories.
With my ex. And see if I can do it. And he does.
He did. And he's a little bit scared, Hye-won. She was like, ugh.
I know.
So ran away for a little bit. And then bubbles.
And then the bubbles.
And then coming to Jeju. And then
just relying on one another. I think because after she went crazy with Huyen in Jeju, she keeps being like, he keeps coming up, he keeps appearing in my life.
Yeah.
And the times that I feel like I'm like a complete
being one of
mess.
the 7 people I run into every day. It's crazy how that happens.
And the crazy part is because he was like, oh yeah, when we found the exes, like I really found you like the prettiest in all of the pre-production interviews.
Okay, my favorite thing is that they did this bit that they keep calling back to.
Yes.
That she's like a really good...
She's a good flirting 101.
She's flirting 101. And I think it was the Jeju date when they...
It was, yeah. Because that's when he was like, why do you keep saying all these things? Where did these come from? That was what it was,
yes.
But here, she's like... She does a pause where she's like, like, yeah, lovely things. Like she lets it button basically.
Yes.
She lets it live. And he's like, that is so, because he was like, I was really hanging on to every second to know what anticipation.
Yeah.
And so he basically is like, wow, I'm like your you're my teacher. And he's like, can I do it so I could like graduate school, your school? And Hye-won's like, no, don't. It's so cute.
It's like, it's textbook rom-com banter.
It's because he is a divorced dad in his late 30s trying to date again.
Not late 30s.
He's divorced dad.
He's the middle-aged. And he and I are alike in that way.
Yes, my peers in middle age. Yeah, it's giving that trope. And she's like the younger girl who like knows more about dating than he does, knows more about the world. So it's just fun.
Yeah, they have a really interesting dynamic. She seems really smart and he's really dumb. And I like that. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's on my shit list currently. We'll get to it. While they were on their dates, the girls got texts that they needed to decide who their ex was going to go on a date with. But this time, there's no like, you
talking.
get to meet and you have to get to decide, blah, blah, blah.
Just right at the moment.
I don't know if it would have... The only one I think it would have changed is the Dahae Dongjin situation.
Because they would have talked about it.
Because it would have been known. That's the only thing. Other than that,
everyone would have
everybody would have decided what they decided.
Everyone would have made the same decision. Because I don't think they would actually...
So the girls are playing the game. Let's say that.
Yeah.
The boys all were very nice to their exes and let them go on the date with whoever they wanted to go with.
You guys.
And the girls are like, you're going to go on a date with Edna Turnblad.
Yeah. You're a doctor. She's a doctor. Done.
You're going to go. And it's not even like none of the girls are bad options, but it's like, I'm going to not set you up for success.
Yeah, absolutely.
The audacity with Hye-won's pick. Okay. Kwangtae. So Chongun decides that Kwangtae is going to go on a date with Yoo-jung. This makes sense.
This makes sense. And she was torn.
She's been here 3 days.
Yeah. What's funny though is she literally was like, I could go with who my ex wants, or I could set him up for an actual person that could actually have a chance, because Yoo-jung does not want to be with you, Kwangtae.
Yes.
Like she was like, should I actually be smarter about this?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I should, which I think that's right.
For Kwangtae,
for Kwangtae specifically,
had nothing to do this whole episode. He had if we were talking about lines, he had 3 lines in the whole episode.
Lines.
This episode is over 3 hours long, and I saw him for 2.5 minutes. It's crazy. I think it was nice of her to do this. I think the only way he's gonna figure out that I don't think even if she had set it up with something else.
Unfortunately,
I think he's gonna pick Yoo Jung at the end of the show.
Kwangtae is gonna say Yoo Jung's name right at the end of the show because they have to. They have to say a name.
Yep.
And I do feel like he's starting to figure it out. But Kwangtae is such a person, which is what a lot of people do in these dating shows of like, well, I don't have any other options really, and why stir the pot now?
Now, right. Why make everybody else's lives hard?
Yeah.
Sangjeong has decided that Minhyung is going to go on a date with Chongun.
And she literally says, they're both doctors.
They can get along. It's fine.
Next question.
Hyewa has decided that Huiyeon is going to go on a date with Dae.
This reaction, she literally goes, which like, because obviously they all are aware of people's relationships and conversations.
Of course.
But like, if I was Dae, I would be like, bitch, you think I suck that much, girl? Shut up. I'm a fucking catch.
It's wild too because they all find out after Dongjin and Hyewan had just come back and been like, oh my god, we're so lovey-dovey.
And everyone is like, great date. Like, okay, girl.
Oh my god, who cares?
And then she does that, and it's like, oh,
okay. Dae has decided Dongjin's going on a date with Jongin because that was all she knew.
Because
till they came home today. Seokyoung has decided that Juwon is going to go on a date with Jongin.
She was like, he hasn't met her yet, kind of.
That is not the reason, girl.
No, she says.
That is what she says. Yes.
No, she said. Seokyoung says.
I'm tired of them
going on dates.
I'm tired of you just.
She literally named.
She was like, "You've been on a date yesterday. You came here the day before. You went on dates
on a date right now.
I'm sick of this.
We're done.
Enough.
We're done.
Ganug.
Ganug.
It's incredible. That is very funny, and she's like fully aware too. She's not stupid. Yeah. And then Yoo Jung sends Changjin on a date with Dae because Yoo Jung is, of all the girls, she is the one that's like, I'm not getting back with Changjin, so I'm setting him up on the best path possible to get over me. I don't know how well that's going. Let's move to texting. And then we'll talk about some couples, and then we'll finish with
the last couple.
The information. Okay. I'm going to tell you, I've been telling you who people get texts from. I'm going to start telling you who texts who. Okay. Kwangtae texts Yoo Jung. Juwon texts Yoo Jung. And Changjin texts Yoo Jung.
Kwangtae, it's so funny because the first text was like, wow, what a great fisherwoman you are. Blah, 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 blah. And then you find out it's Kwangtae, and the panel's like, was he on the fucking boat? What the fuck are you talking about, girl?
You were a great fisherman. You weren't there? He's so weird. It's so funny. I cannot believe
I can't believe you fully turned around on him.
I am like Team Kwangtae.
I know, I just want him to like, if anything, I just want him to get closure about like, if someone rejects me, that does not mean that I am unlovable.
Right. I think that's where he...
Oh.
Oh.
Do people in this room need to learn that lesson?
Minhyung texts Sangjeong. We'll talk about... It's a whole package.
You're just going to package all of it up. Okay.
Huiyeon also texts Sangjeong. For the first time.
And Sangjeong...
Which is exciting. I'm glad Sangjeong has finally gotten a text from somebody.
Yes.
Okay? I'll say it.
Totally.
Sangjeong texts Huiyeon. There you go. Link. Seokyoung texts Dongjin. And Hyewan texts Dongjin. Dongjin texts Hyewan. Link.
Good there.
Dae texts Changjin. Chongun texts Changjin. Because they both went on a date with him. But he had already texted Yoo Jung.
texted Yoo Jung.
No link. Ani. Yoojung texts Juwon. That's just... Yoojung is like... Of every single person on the show, 12 participants, I know one decision that is being made at the end of the show. And it is Yoojung's
will
choice.
pick Juwon.
No matter what, truly no matter what happens. Even if like at the end, there is still there is a probability that Juwon does not pick Yoojung.
Yeah.
As we talk about today.
Or even like Changjin will pick Yoojung.
Sure, that's not going to sway her. She has made that so clear that I understand. I don't blame Changjin for trying. I think that's the point of the show.
Yeah.
But it is, she's been very explicit. Like, it's not going to happen. You know, we had a great time. I'm happy you lived your life. Enjoy. See you later. It's so clear. And that's it. Those are all the texts. So Kwangtae, Seokyoung, Minhyung, Chongwon, and Dahae do not get texts today. Yoojung and Changjin have a conversation in the kitchen.
He's basically like, do you like him? Do you think you would actually go out with him?
Yeah, it's more of the same.
Not necessarily ultimatum, but it is the first time that we are getting...
I think they feel the looming presence of the end of the show coming nearer. So their conversations are getting more explicit. Which is helpful.
Yes. And Changjin in the text to Yoojung was like, last night's conversation was great. I kept thinking about it all day.
Yes, Changjin has now texted her 2 days in a row. Unfortunately for Changjin,
she's never going to text him.
It's not happening. At this point, it's not happening. Yeah. Even if Juwon fully fucked up, right?
And we'll tell her
she would go to someone else. She's not going back to Changjin. It's not happening. No. And I think her in that X room really cemented that decision when she reread that.
I don't want to go back to
that text. Yep. That is absolutely what happened.
It is very funny here while they're having this conversation upstairs. Dongjin and Dahae, who just finished their conversation, she goes up to make ramyeon. And it is a Three Stooges once again.
There's so much interrupting going on in the show.
Just Scooby-Doo sound.
It's so crazy because there's so much space on this compound.
It must be so fucking cold outside.
It has to be. That has to be why no one is going outside.
No, yeah.
But even then, there's still rooms. There's still 3 other houses.
3 living rooms. But you can go to someone's... well, I guess not.
They get weird about the bedrooms, yeah. So let's talk about Dongjin and Dahae. Dongjin and Dahae, I would say, finally have the first actual conversation on the show.
Yes, totally.
Of their own accord.
Of their own accord. Not forced by a text.
Right.
Dongjin is kind of like sulky. And... Because
she chose Chongwon.
She chose Chongwon. They both... when Dahae came home and obviously saw Dongjin and Haewon after their super amazing date, she even says, like, I feel like I probably could have made a better choice. If I know, like, literally
if
right
I
now.
had known.
If I had known. But then they're cooking alone upstairs. He's kind of sulking, and he's basically like, I don't care, by the way.
Bitch, who asked? Why are you bringing it up?
But it's really interesting that you chose Jongwon. And she fully was like, she was the last person I talked to. It sounded like you had a great time. And he was like, well, we did.
We did, and I do like her. And I think she's great.
And I think she could be one person I could end up with. So try to have the conversation inside. And they were just drinking with Yoojung when it happens.
It starts
and they
there. Yeah.
Couldn't just stop arguing about who she picks.
Yes.
Because he was like, well, blah, 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 blah. I'm just disappointed. And she's like, well, I didn't fucking know because we haven't talked. I don't know who you like.
Right.
And Yoojung literally goes, ah! Home Alone.
Yes. Fully. Kathy.
She acts and then walks away.
And whacks away.
She acts up to the stairs. Oh.
Whacking.
Oh. And they're like, let's have this conversation outside. And they ask, why, like, you have no intention of ending up with me. Like, that's not even a possibility. And he keeps being like, Well,
That's
I've
why
had
I
it
came
hard.
onto the
That's
show.
why I came on the show.
I didn't want to end up back up
so
with
that we
you.
can help each other move on. Blah blah blah
Oh.
blah blah.
She asked him to be on the show.
Dahae asked Dongjin out.
I don't know why we thought this whole time that
I think it
that
just wasn't
Dongjin
clear.
asked.
I don't know. I'm sure it was
Something
just missed.
happened in an early episode that I thought like alluded to
that.
it. Yeah.
I think it's just from Dahae's like, why am I in the show?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And the thing with Dongjin is he keeps being like, I'm having a hard time too. But it's like no one That's not even the argument.
It's so frustrating thing. The most frustrating part of this argument is that she'll be like, it looks like you're doing fine. Because again, he's not talking to her.
Yes,
And
exactly.
He's doing a very good job up until this point on the show. He was doing a very good job of like being really closed off and like just appearing like it's easy breezy for him.
But now in Jeju you can't because everyone
But also
knows.
like in Seoul, not a lot was going for him.
Yeah.
Like it hasn't been until Jeju that things have started to like switch.
he's so active, yeah.
So I think like just from Seoul, she was like, I mean, you seemed
To be doing
fine.
great. Yeah.
Like not even like you're getting all the girls or anything, but just like you're not
You're doing
having
well.
a shitty time on the show.
and for her it's like, and now I'm just having a hard time because I know that's what's coming and it sucks.
Right.
And then he is like, well, I'm also having a hard time. Like, you're the one that is basically like already with someone because you spend all day together and blah 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 blah. Just because I want to not end up with you doesn't mean I don't still have feelings.
Are men well?
I was like, Dongjin, you're talking to yourself in a little circle. And even she was like, you didn't talk to me. How the fuck would I know any of that?
Right.
You pretended that I was invisible.
Yes.
Which means that you were fully, to my eyes, that you were fully. But his whole thing was like, oh, so you trust your feelings from these last 2 weeks than what we have 13 years?
Well,
Yes,
there
girl.
there were things that he was like annoyed about, and she was like, I don't want to argue in front of other people. He was like, you care about what people that we've only known for this long care, like instead of me. And she's like,
Yes.
yeah, because it's impolite. Oh my God. I just like,
I am happy that they finally have this talk because
I think it actually ends really well.
I think so too.
But there is a talking head that Dahae has in this episode that is so incredibly sad, where she says that it's basically her final acknowledgement that like it's not happening, and that she wishes like Dongjin and Hyewan well.
Yeah.
And she's like they're really cute couple.
They look like a happy couple, happier than I would have ever made him or have ever made him. And she because there's a moment when they're having this conversation, she's like, well, if we're both miserable, then doesn't that mean that we just want to be together again?
Right.
So let's just be back together.
Yeah. Which I mean, like, that's like a classic, like, let's get back. That is the classic argument of like,
Yeah.
we're both clearly sad that we miss each other.
Yeah.
Let's just get back together. But like, that's not a good
That's
enough
not
reason.
Look, girl, look what happened
You're
to
sad- you're sad
Juwon and fucking
because-
Seokyoung. They did
You're
it.
sad because it's 13. I mean, like, it's a part of
You're
you.
grieving.
Girl,
You're sad
here's the
because
thing.
something died.
Here's the thing, baby girl. In like 15 years, you're going to have your little past lives moment where you're Greta Lee and you like reconnect with Dongjin and you like acknowledge the time you had together, but you're married and you're happy and you're fine. And
It's literally the end of La La Land.
It's literally the end of La La Land. There are relationships that happen in your life that are not meant to be forever.
Forever.
And it sucks even saying that. But yeah.
But it ends well because they're a little drunk. But he is like, well, I'm gonna eat ramen before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, she's like, well, me too. And he's like, no, you're gonna eat mine. And she's like, yeah, just one bite.
It ends really. It
And
ends
the
in the
panel
way
evens
that like
happy because they're like, okay, this is like when a married couple fights. We wouldn't know.
never have.
We've never fought. How dare you? Yeah, the panel was like they're like fighting like after a married couple fights because then they know that it was just like whatever, and then they go back to real life.
Yep. I'm glad neither of them really broke down during it. they didn't yell
stood
at
their
each
ground.
other.
That's
They
what
stood their ground, and that's what I really needed from both of them. Especially down here.
Because I need you to, because the other ones that have not gone through 13 years of relationship don't feel as brave enough to kind of be like, no, but this is how I feel.
I know. Can I just say real quick? X dates are coming soon. I'm assuming not
And
next
this
week,
one,
but probably the week after.
It's either going to make everything great
worse or great.
Worse.
Yeah.
It's either going to be like, and that was our closure, or they're going to lose their minds.
They're not getting back together. I want to make it very clear. I do not under any circumstances think they're going to choose each other.
Yeah.
I guess there's a world in which she does choose him just because she's like, well, I don't have super strong feelings for Changjin. I wouldn't want to lead him on or anything like that. But there is not a world in which, especially if this K1 situation keeps going, he's going to ride that train the whole way.
And she's going to see that too.
Mm-hmm. Let's do Seokyoung and Juwon. Juwon goes to Seokyoung. And I think he's a little questioning. He's not upset. It's not like Dongjin.
Yes.
But he's questioning why she picked Jongin.
When I've just been for one person the entire time.
So they go have this conversation. And again, it just goes back to that night. We just start relitigating that night all over again.
Because they keep talking about the night they break up and day 3 of the show.
Yes.
They just keep going back over and over again.
But really, it's the night they broke up. Yeah. I mean, that's really the
because
crux
I guess
of the whole
he said, "Oh, such an unforgivable word."
I know they talked about it in the episode. It's just been like literally 12 weeks ago, so I cannot remember what it is.
12 weeks ago and like 40 hours.
2 full days of content ago. Yeah.
And she's like, that's why I wouldn't even want to get back. That's the thing that's stopping me. And he's even like, he wants her to be like, yeah, let's just get back together. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he keeps giving her every chance for her to be like,
to just.
But I do want you, Juwon. And he would drop Yoo-jung so fast.
And that's been Seokyoung's whole thing. Her whole thing this episode is like, I realize that if I say that I want this relationship back, he will go back.
Yes. I do kind of, just for the chaos
work.
That would be fun.
And sis.
But also like.
And you know what, mama? Thanks for sharing that.
But here's the only.
You spilled. And Seokyoung spilled.
And here's the thing, is that of all the contestants, all the girl contestants on the show, I'm glad that Juwon has a fling with Yoo-jung, who is, I think, the only person that could handle being led on for this long as one person's thing and then not being chosen at the end.
Absolutely.
I think if that happens, she will be pissed. But I think she'd be like, she'd get over it.
She'd be the most understanding, like, oh yeah, that's part of the game.
I had a feeling it was going to happen.
it was going to happen.
Anyone else, I think, is unstable enough to freak out.
Yes.
Because they have spent so much. People like to talk about how much time Changjin and Daehye spend together.
Oh,
mama.
Juwon and Yoo-jung are
connected at the hip. But then they talk again later, and it just is like a lot of. Seokyoung has to figure out what she wants.
That's the
crux of the whole situation. Until she figures it out.
I think what makes it really hard.
What was she saying at the end? Was she saying it's not worth it? Because she said, she's like, first of all, I hate when they do this, when they're like, I have like 20 to 30% of like interest in you. I'm like, this is not how this works. Anyway, do you think she was saying like, but it's not worth it, I'm not doing it? She still won't give an answer. And he wants an answer so bad. It's literally K1 Hwiyeon all over again. He's like, just say the words. Why? This is the question. Why is it annoying when Hwiyeon does it, but it's like fascinating when Seokyoung does it? Because I do think with Hwiyeon, there's a part of like, I don't know if he realizes he's doing half the shit he's doing. Whereas like Seokyoung, I'm not saying everything is calculated and it's like a villainous way, but she is aware of the show and what's
going to happen
going
at the end.
on.
Yes.
And she knows just how to push the buttons to make everyone kind of do what she wants them to do.
I know.
But I think she's like an interesting person. Their biggest problem, this is truly, honestly, The reason
This
I
is
understand why people want them to get back together, I don't agree. But their only issue is that they need to figure out a way to problem solve.
Problem solve together.
That is their only
Because
problem.
she even says it. She's like, I sometimes feel like I'm gonna cry when I'm talking to you. I need time to process what I have to come and say something.
She is like, she's a processor, and he is a let's just figure it out.
Let's just figure it out right now. I don't even want to. Why go to bed angry?
Right. And if they can find the common ground between those two energies, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be steps along the way that are issues.
Yeah.
But that is an easy, like, oh, that's the issue. That is the crux of the issue.
Let's work on it.
There is a level with Dongjin Dahye. He has gone too far in the direction that he resents Dahye.
Yeah.
And it has started to cloud every judgment of Dahye to the point that now he disbelieves. He assumes worst intent for everything she does.
She does.
She was like explaining, like, I chose Chongun because you seem to have a great day with her. I didn't know about K1.
Yes. And I literally, I am roommates with her. And she tells me that you guys were having a great time.
And you could tell he didn't want to believe it. Because he just assumes that because of everything that happened with him starting to resent her, because of the situation, and like it sucks, he's just started to have that belief of her.
That it's like, oh, she's been duplicitous the entire time.
Correct.
And I can't trust her. She's always two-sided.
It sucks.
Two-headed.
There's no way to get past that.
No.
Truly. Truly the only way to get past that is time apart.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Past lives.
Thank you. I'm not even talking about Huiyan K1 anymore. I'm done with them. Also, they don't come up on the show.
It looks like they might come up next episode, but I hope that it's just kind of one last
and done.
test.
One little, yeah. Changjin, just because we've talked about them, and then we'll go to the finale. Changjin and Yoojung.
That was the first one we did.
No, I know. I'm giving this is each couple's problem.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're just
solving their problems. Their problem is that their problem lies in their past. Their problem is that situation.
Their problem is they haven't forgiven each other for what they did.
Correct. Here's the thing. Yoojung doesn't care about rekindling it. And that's the thing. You can't rekindle something if somebody's like,
she's like, I've already made peace with it. I've already made closure with it.
She's fine with it.
Yeah.
Of course it hurts. Of course it sucks. But she already did the grieving process and she already moved past that relationship. She's not like, I'm not reopening old wounds just because you miss me.
Yeah.
Sorry. There are a million fish in the sea. I'm a pretty girl. You're a hot guy. I'm sure you're going to find another pretty girl somewhere.
There's one
fish
right
in a barrel.
There's literally...
It's Korea.
There's literally two in the show right now that if you choose them, they might say yes.
Right. That is, of the three people that we were talking about, I think those are their like X issues. So I do think I understand when people are like,
Juwon and Seokyeong could actually...
They could actually solve their problem. Yes. Will they? Probably not. That's
probably
my guess.
Not, because... I mean, the panelists were saying that like Juwon has so much pride. But yet, he's still like...
They both are very proud people.
Yeah.
They both refuse to like...
But you're right. He is giving her every in.
Oh my God.
To be like, well then, yeah, I'll do that.
He keeps asking her in like 100 different ways. Like,
but I also think that this is probably... She probably was convinced that it was going to be different after that first time they broke up. That she probably resents that. And I really just think she doesn't want to give up the actual opportunity. The opportunity is too good to get back with him and give it another shot. That if she says no, then it'll never happen fully.
Yeah.
Not even after the show, whatever. Mm-hmm. No contact.
Yep. Okay, let's talk about the absolute fucking mess in this episode.
Wow. I just want to say first and foremost that we all thought, the berets thought, the commenters, everyone, the zeitgeist, were like, speed skater from a child.
Somehow
they have known each other since they were like 10.
We were like, that's what they're holding back
And
on.
that's
'cause
what they're
it's such
holding
a
up because it's
juicy
such
story.
a juicy story.
And when I tell you, it is the literal opposite of that. This, I cannot believe. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Okay. So in this episode, they relitigate the fucking outfit gate.
Yes. They have a full conversation. She's like,
Multiple.
she won't let go of it.
So she did say she bought him the outfit.
So maybe they were holding that back from us.
So maybe they were holding that back from us. Fine.
But she's like, you can say you're sorry.
Let's say what their problem is. Before we even get what everything is happening. What is their actual problem?
Is their problem?
They are two different people.
See, this is the same thing that I feel.
I'm not saying too emotional. She is a heart first person.
Yes.
And he is a head first person.
And those are fine ways to live your life.
It's very hard.
People can make it work. I just don't think they are the ones.
You can make it work if you're willing to find the other, willing to meet the other person where they're at.
The other person does not think the other way of living is right, or they don't like it.
Min Young, they are both equally at fault.
Yeah.
Min Young did this weird thing in the relationship. We'll talk about it later, but he tried to they went in being we're gonna get married, which is an insane way to start a relationship. They went in being we're gonna get married. So then he was she talks about how she wanted to meet a guy. She wanted to marry a guy who was related for her dad. So then it made me think, oh, I wonder if he was trying to turn her into his mom. Because that happens a lot where people that marry their parents.
Because that's
mean?
Especially if their goal is to be married, that's the view of marriage that they have.
Yeah. I just have a feeling. We don't know that for sure. That's just my guess. But he tried to change aspects about her. She is a lot, and that is her charm, but it can also be a lot
for a person that
is
a surgeon.
Is a surgeon. So that's one thing. Mm-hmm. But I also think she has a hard time hearing what he's saying and not, unfortunately, and I don't think this is just him. I did before we knew how long they had been together. When she kept being I have low self-esteem because of him, and I believed they've been together for years.
Yes,
I was
because it's how dare they?
How long?
Or
right?
Because it's they must be friends from childhood. That
right.
It means
that's what. Okay,
it means
truly.
more.
When we found out that they've only been together for 3 months and they broke up 6 weeks ago, I swear to God, it's wild, guys.
Him being a childhood speed skater has nothing to do with their relationship.
Nothing.
It just ended up happening, being oh yeah, oh my God, I skated there too when I was little. I took that camp.
They knew a skater friend in common. That's how they met.
That's it.
It's crazy. She has self-esteem problems aside from Min Hyung. Min Hyung is not the root of your self-esteem problems. I don't think he helped.
No, I think he exacerbated them.
But there were issues before you got into that relationship. And there are things that I think Sangjeong, I hope, is able to work on and grow from.
At least see this and be oh.
Because it's not, you're 3 months dating someone starting in June of 2023 did not lead you to this point that you were I don't think. I mean, we don't know, right?
But I do think
she is just so ready to take everything he says as a personal slight against her. And I don't.
Because I think this is probably the time of her life right now where he made her feel that her way of life is not serious and that you can't actually, quote unquote, be a good wife or be a successful person in society, even though you already have a gold medal.
Crazy.
But it's because of your personality. It's because you're too outgoing. It's because you look at your phone.
I mean, there are crazy things that I was pro Min Hyung until some of this was revealed, and then I was what is happening?
Yeah.
You can't look at your phone when it dings while you eat, or you have to look straight ahead on the sidewalk. That one was bizarre to me.
Yeah, because I think she'll be whoa, what's that? Whatever. I think that's what.
Okay, that's
life. That's called being in the moment, being in the present.
That's her charm.
That's her.
She is
So I think
like
that's
a space case.
and I do think that's what when she talks about self-esteem issues, it strikes that because it's like
Totally.
this is what I am. Like I can't change that about me.
Why would you want to change that about her?
Yeah.
That is her charm.
Yeah.
It gets to a point. There are multiple conversations in the episode. It gets to a point where Sangjeong cries, breaks down, calls the director, and says that she is done.
wants to go
She
home.
wants to leave the show.
And Minhyung, I think, also gets the call from the same director because he runs to try and find her.
Yes.
And they try to sit it down again. And this is kind of where it all comes out. Because she, in this breakdown, says...
It is so hard watching her cry because...
Totally, because she's crying.
Of everyone, she seems like
It's
the
a
youngest person on the show.
Yes.
For sure.
And she's like crying for loss. It's what we said about Dahae before. But because she's kind of like younger in that way, it looks like a girl... Like
I mean,
crying.
she is grieving. Yes.
She literally says, "I brought you here in the show because I want to get back together with you."
my God.
And it like finally erupts because it's I think she's embarrassed to say that.
I think so too.
Sokung does the same thing too in the fight in her talk with Juwon, that she basically breaks down because she gets choked up because she had to admit that like, yeah, I did want to be convinced to get back with you. Mm-hmm. But
Everyone is so scared to say what they want.
yes,
They're terrified.
because they're afraid
Except
that,
for you, John.
because they're afraid that it's gonna look stupid.
Yeah.
That they're like,
Because you don't...
people are gonna think it's not the rational choice.
There is nothing
but
worse
it's not
than going
rational.
for it and then being rejected.
Yeah.
There is no... Everyone hates that.
And on
Why do
fucking
you think I
national
stopped
TV.
pursuing acting? Because I hate rejection.
But you can do like Miss Jeong and just do some short films here and there, you know?
I gotta reach out and be like, who's your agent?
Yeah. Give me non-committal jobs. Oh, you'll gladly do an industry video. Mm-hmm. Like, here's how you properly file your folders.
I would love... give me some commercial work, bitch. I would be dropped into that character
Maybe,
so fast.
like a tea, or maybe like a inhaler, maybe like a printer.
Canon printer.
Yeah, maybe.
Or a Yamaha scooter.
Yeah, that could be, yeah. Maybe like a chip.
Lay's. Like a Lay's potato chip.
Like a chip, like a Lay's chip.
Maybe.
Something like that, I think.
Something.
Yeah.
I'm willing to learn Thai.
Rag on top of name.
Great.
She basically says this. And Minhyung is like, you didn't have to do the show to ask me to get back together again. And she is like, I know. That's why I feel like shit. That's why I feel like an idiot.
She is, I think she is a person who... Sangjeong seems to me like a person who
Period.
She almost seems like a person. It's crazy. She seems like a person who makes impulsive decisions.
Yeah.
And he is so rational with his thinking. And I think that is where their problem lies, is that she's so hurt by his decision to wear that outfit. Whereas for him, and yes, she did buy him that outfit, so I will give her that.
But for him, it's like,
he was
it's cold.
It's cold, and I know you told me I look good in this, so I'm not gonna wear an outfit I look shitty in. Like, if I know I look good in this outfit, I'm gonna wear the outfit I look good in. But she takes it as like, blah, 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 blah. And so then when he's explaining, like, it was not meant to hurt you. It was not done maliciously. There was no ill intent behind it. She's like, oh, so now I'm the bad guy for saying it looks bad. And it's like, actually, no one said that. You are now assigning that to yourself because you feel, I think really she feels bad that she's being so emotional.
Yes.
Because she thinks he views it negatively, and maybe he does.
Maybe he does, and that's why you shouldn't be together.
And that's probably why you shouldn't be together.
And you should find someone that
you need to find someone who like accepts that aspect
all parts of you.
Right.
Yes.
And of course, you're allowed to be frustrated with people, and you're allowed to like blah 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 blah. But like, you can't. There's no way to meet that. They
fundamentally don't think about the world the same way.
Correct.
And I think because in their little package,
oh my God,
he was like, it was fun to do all of these things with her, but then that starts to go away when the honeymoon phase is over, and you think about like, well, okay, because I think they both were like, this is so good. Why wouldn't I want to spend the rest of my life?
They literally
this?
like basically started their relationship by being like, so I'm looking. I mean, I think it is adult, to like put those things forward when you start dating in your late 20s, early 30s.
They fully were like, this is so good right now. Obviously, this is meant to be. So let's play in the life.
Why are you at
26, 20?
We learned that they only dated for 3 months. So at some point, it had to be their first month. They started talking about marriage.
Yeah.
Why are you even bringing it up? The only thing you should bring up is like, are you a person who wants to ever get married or doesn't want to get married? Are you a person who ever wants to have kids or doesn't want to have kids? Because I think you need to weed those people out, right? We have a friend who recently had this happen to them. They wanted kids. Their partner didn't want kids. They were early in the relationship. They broke it off.
They were like, it's okay.
It doesn't matter.
And now they're with someone else. You know, like it's just.
But that's like understandable. This is like, oh, I want to get married. Oh, I'd like to get married one day. Okay, so we're going to get married.
So we're getting married.
Why are we even... That is... Whoa. Let's pump the brakes. Let's Vanderpump these brakes, honey.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I understand now knowing that it was hot and it was short and like fiery. I was like, oh, this fully makes sense. Why they're both like...
Why they're both still kind of tethered.
Yes. It is interesting...
Because we interpreted it is. Like, I think Min Hyung is still very sweet and caring and attentive.
I think he is too, because there's that moment when he wants to give her the medicine in this episode that I thought was very nice.
But I think it's because they are still dating.
Of all the people who are on the show, they are the ones who should not have done the show.
It's the impulse thing.
Do you think she's going to leave?
I hope not.
I hope not too, but I also... She's not going to get anything else out of the show, though. That's the thing.
But I think she needs this kind of exposure therapy.
I would agree if anyone else was showing interest to her, because then maybe it could rebuild her self-esteem.
But that's the thing. But I would much rather have her experience that with people that at least know what they're going through and can actually help her. Because I don't think anyone is interested in that way, but... They all want to take care of her. They all want to like reassure her.
I'm very happy they showed in the last episode their Juwon and Dongjin's like talk with her, where they were like, "You have done things that no one else has done. Mm-hmm. So few people have done in this country, for sure."
Yeah, and she has that with Hwiyoon and Kwangtae here too, which is very interesting.
And I like those moments because I think they're very helpful for her.
I am hoping.
It sucks.
I'm kind of projecting.
I can't believe they only broke up 6 weeks before the show.
Yeah,
how fast was this casting process?
They wanted to get them fresh.
My God.
But also, I think it's because this was the shortest time that they had in between. Because season 2 was so big that I think they had to be like, well, we have to crank one out next year exactly this time. Because I don't think it was that short from 1 and 2. I want a moment for like Dahae to talk to Sangjeong because I want her to be like, I know exactly how you feel of like wanting to leave, but I promise you, in the long run, you are way stronger than what you're feeling right now.
I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I agree for Sangjeong. I don't think she's going to get anything out of this experience. Besides more frustration.
If that's not even a possibility. To get back together.
I don't...
What do you need to see from
I don't think
them?
I don't think they should get back together. So which is wild because in the recap, I was like, I'm rooting for them. I'm not rooting for them. I'm rooting for them separately.
Yeah.
As individuals.
Who do you think are the people that could actually, if someone could change and they could get back together? Just Juwon and Seokyoung?
When Jongin first showed up, I wondered if there was a possibility that Kwangtae and Jongin could get back together. But I think when he cried, she was like, nope. I think she is not interested in an emotional man at all. And unfortunately, I think that's what Kwangtae is.
So then maybe they hit it up. Maybe
Kwangtae, I got the girl for you.
Kwangtae.
She's a gold medalist.
She's a gold medalist.
She's a skater.
Heart on her sleeve. She's so impulsive.
So
she just wants to do fun things all the time.
She is, I swear to God, like,
Literally.
we've talked so much about Sangjeong and like, I don't know why, for some reason, she of all the, and I love like Dahyeh and I've talked at length about Yoojung and blah, 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 blah. But Sangjeong just feels so naive is like usually has a negative connotation, but she just feels so like that earnest quality that I really like, that she's really trying and she really wants.
She's never half-hearted about anything.
No.
If she doesn't want to do something, she just won't do it. And I think Min Hyung said that.
And I will be the first to be like, she's been a brat on this show.
Yeah.
Especially these last couple episodes. But she just like, I just want her to like accept herself and like realize that she is like so much more than.
Doesn't need like a man to validate that.
And it's okay to want to get married, but I think.
But you should want someone to marry you for who you are.
Yes, and you should want to.
And don't think of marriage as like we both have to. Even though marriage is like you do compromise.
Yeah.
You work together.
Yeah.
But if there are things that you can't, that's okay.
Yeah.
Especially if it's about like your personality and what you love about yourself. That's the thing.
You can't change a person just to marry them. No. And you shouldn't want to either, obviously.
Yeah. Some people should want to, change if they feel like the things that they don't like about themselves in a marriage. I think that's okay to like work through that and want to change some certain things about yourself in a marriage.
I wish there were things I knew I would want to change about myself, but I really like myself how I am.
Oh. Are you sure?